Political and post-conflict transitions are often accompanied by economic transitions. To what extent is this the case in the Arab Spring, and what are the legal system, rule of law implications?
I think that it's very much the case in the countries that have gone through or going through the Arab Spring, because many of the factors that led to the changes in the region and that are leading to the changes, they were of course political, they were of course of rights nature, but they were also very much of economic nature. And but as maybe some of the revolutions, at least on the surface, they came quickly. They within a month, it happened in a few countries, even though, of course, the factors behind these quick movements are of a completely different nature. If you look at the challenges of the region, 17 million new jobs have to be created for the young population of these countries. And we will see maybe quick revolutions in a way, but the transition in economic terms, and certainly also in legal terms, will be a longer process because it's not something you build overnight.
Well, this is going to take then a lot of inward and external investment if we're going to create the right environment for jobs for all these young people. Do the Islamic movements in the Arab world have negative effects on foreign investments, in particular European investments?
I think that what investors look for, and they look for it no matter if it's an Islamic country or not, they look for stability and they look for predictability, if you talk in the legal sense, but also, of course, in economic terms. And I think we've seen in many of the countries that have gone through revolutionary change is that for the year 2011, there was a steep downturn when it came to investment, when it came to tourism in some countries that are very dependent on that income. But once you've gone through a democratic transition, if that leads to stability, security-wise, if that leads to predictability in the legal sense, the legal reform, eventually investors will go there.
And
these are our neighbors.
And from a perspective of legal reform, what are the most important legal reforms that have to be done for a successful transition to democracy in this region?
I don't think one can say that in general terms. Some countries had actually, let's say, the institutional backbone, even under previous regimes. There's a lot of software reform that might be needed in those countries. Other countries need to build both software and hardware. So you can't give a general answer to that. And actually, we shouldn't give an answer to that. That's up to the countries themselves to assess, to see what they need to do, and then, of course, also to ask us in what way can we assist and accompany them.
Youth was a very important part of what happened in the Arab Spring. Young people protesting, twittering, being on Facebook and other social media outlets in terms of making sure that this revolution happened. Yet the sense is that many of these people were willing to be part of the initial revolution, but maybe don't want to be part of the political elected process. Where, first of all, would you agree with that assessment? And secondly, how do you best see the energy that we initially saw among all these young people being preserved in terms of the Arab Spring going forward?
I think that what we saw and what we see in the Arab Spring is actually a boost of energy and, in a way, creativity. And as you say, a creativity and energy from young people. Things have gone quickly in a way, and when it comes to moving to the political phase, to electoral phases, to constitutional phase, they have come quickly for many of these countries. I think what we will hopefully see, and what at least we try to support, is to see how can the energy that we saw in 2010, 2011, and now this year, how can it be transformed into something more long-term? And then I think about building civil society movements that have been existing in some countries and less in others, but at least they've been underdeveloped.
And in terms of corruption, which is a huge issue in the region, and the need to get rid of corruption in terms of democratic processes, do we need to start small? And if we do, what is the best way to do it?
I think actually the fight against corruption is the most tangible sign for the everyday person in the countries of the region, as well as for businessmen from abroad, to see that things have actually changed. And if I look at what my country has done, we launched an anti-corruption website and an e-learning program that was launched actually in July in Arabic also, in July last year, 2011. I think it's one of the fundamental things that people will see in their everyday lives, that what they had to go through before, they will not have to go through again. And that's a fundamental thing that will be felt by everyone.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you for your time.
Thank you.